Hello everyone, today's poem is 爱江头 by 杜甫, a poem about a sad spring in the capital city, Chang'an city. The miracle of the country, the miracle of the people after the civil war, 安史之乱. It's 1 year after the civil war and Du Fu was captured by the rebellion troops and he was taken back to Chang'an. And because he's a junior officer, so it shows no value for the rebellion troops, and he was released, and thus he stays in Chang'an to the second year after the civil war in Chang'an city. And this is a springtime, so when he's writing this poem about the miracle of the country, the miracle of the people. And you can check my another video, 春望, which was written in the same period, same spring. And also, I suggest you to review my video, 丽人行, which is also by 杜甫, and it was written about the same place, Qujiang, the royal garden, the huge royal garden, the place for the leisurement. And 丽人行 is before the civil war, and this poem is 1 year after the civil war. I have some other videos on Du Fu's poems as well, so if you have further interest, you can check other videos as well. It's through the lifelong time of Du Fu, so you can see the changes of Du Fu's mindset, the writing skills, the content, or his focus on what he's focused on. With all those knowledge on the history background, on poet Du Fu himself, you will have a much better understanding of the poems he wrote. Okay, let's go to the poem now. 哀江头，杜甫。少陵野老吞声哭，春日潜行曲江曲。江头宫殿锁千门，细柳新蒲为谁绿？一夕泥京下南苑，苑中万物生颜色。朝阳殿里第一人，同辇随军四军策。辇前才人带弓箭，白马嚼啮黄金勒。翻身向天仰射云，一笑正坠双飞翼。明眸皓齿今何在？雪无游魂归不得。清渭东流渐隔深，去住彼此无消息。人生有情泪沾衣，江水江花起终极。黄昏胡骑尘满城，欲往城南望城北。Such a long narrative poem, so I won't tell too much about the wordings. I would focus on the meaning and the background of the poem. 哀江头, the title means feel sorrow, feel sympathy in front of the waterfront. The waterfront actually is a big lake, so-called Qujiang. There is a big park, and a lot of the place is for public, but they still have some of the part belongs to the royal garden. And the forbidden city in the Tang dynasty was in the north of the Chang'an city, and this royal garden is in the south suburb of the Chang'an city. And the emperor of the time even built a long bridge. I'm not quite sure 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles. The bridge to bridge the Forbidden City in the north part of the city, to the south suburb, the Royal Garden at this place. So that's Qujiang. And we have another poem telling the tour around the gamings in the springtime at this area, which is Li Ren Xing, also by Du Fu. So you can have a little check how it was look like in the normal time, in the best time of the Tang dynasty. It's a big park in the springtime. The first sentence, 少陵野老吞声哭，春日潜行曲江曲. So it's very simple words. 少陵野老, that's the name the poet Du Fu called himself. Shaoling was the residence place when he was lived in Chang'an, and his very early ancestors was also lived here. So he treated this area as the place of his ancestors, and so he was a little proud to live here, and also he called himself 少陵野老. The Shaoling, the place of the name Shaoling, and Ye Lao is the old man in the wild. So that's it's sort of the humble self-calling himself. 吞声哭, so he's crying at the waterfront, at the lakefront actually. 吞声, he swallowed the sound. So you can imagine he's an old man, and he feels so sad, and he cannot express himself fully. It's hard to tell. Just imagine the situation. 春日潜行曲江曲. So the second sentence tells he is a springtime, and 潜行, he was 潜行 means silently or secretly. He goes to the Qujiang. Qujiang is the place, the name for the place. It's not far from his residence place. I have a video, so-called tour of the Du Fu Museum. That museum was actually, it's a residence place of Du Fu in Chang'an City. So you can check that video to see how the situation and the outlook of his residence. So the big idea is the square city of Chang'an City, and the Qujiang is the southeast suburb of the Chang'an City, and to more south, roughly 10 kilometers south, is the residence of Du Fu's residence place in Chang'an City. So it's hard to tell where he came to this place, to the Qujiang, when he wrote this poem, but most probably he came here by habit. Springtime, that's the time to visit this huge park in the springtime, and from his home, most probably. 江头宫殿锁千门. So there's a huge royal garden within this area, in the Qujiang area. 江头, it's a lake, it's not a river. So remember that Qujiang is not a river, it's a huge lake. And the royal palace, royal garden is so huge. There's 1,000 doors, and they all locked. 细柳新蒲为谁绿? So it usually is a time to come here to tour around, play games, dining, whatsoever, to have parties. And the willows getting green and very fresh green. And why, for whom all those willows green for? It tells that it should be have so many people, it's crowded a place, but there's nobody except the poet Du Fu himself when he write the poems, because the rebellion is still occupied the Chang'an city still at the time being. So there's nothing more about the current situations or the views in front of the poet. First of all, he's so sad, and there's nothing in front of me. So he's go back to recall the past time. 忆昔, he recalled the past time. 霓京下南苑. Nijing is the flag of the emperor. It's a colorful red flag for the emperor. So this is the replacement name for the emperor. Go south to the garden, South Garden, Nanyuan South Garden. So here is refers to the Qujiang, Furong Yuan. So today there is a replica of the Furong Yuan. The Furong Yuan is a name for the royal garden in Qujiang, and you can pay a visit there if you has a chance to go to Xi'an city. So he recall the emperor go down to the royal garden, Furong Yuan. 院中万物生颜色. So the 10,000 articles in the royal garden, it reflect the colors, reflect the light. What light it reflects? Because the big group of people surrounded the emperor, they all shining whatsoever, the gold jewelry and the light whatsoever. And also it reflects the emperor is just like the sun. The sun over the heaven, it shines on everything. So it make everything in the royal garden shining and has more colors, 生颜色. 朝阳殿里第一人，同辇随君四君侧. Zhaoyang Dian is a palace in the Han Dynasty, roughly 700 years before the Tang Dynasty. This is a habit of the Tang people. When they're talking about the emperor, especially, they cannot talk the emperor directly. They always use the Han Dynasty to refer the emperor in the Tang Dynasty. So Zhaoyang Dian is the palace in the Han Dynasty. So here actually it refers to the Tang Dynasty. This palace is for the queens. So 朝阳殿里第一人, it means the queen in the palace. 第一人, the first one in that palace, of course, she's the queen. 同辇随君四君侧. 辇 is the car, the horse car. He was in the same car with the emperor, and he was taking care of the emperor. So it looks like very normal for today's people, but actually it violates the rules in the Tang Dynasty or in the ancient China, because the woman cannot take the same car with the emperor. And in the Han Dynasty, there's also has a similar story. Sort of the emperor asked the queen or the lady to take the same car with him, and the lady refused. And the story reflects actually two aspects. The lady was a very nice, disciplined, with good virtue lady. The emperor is a bad emperor because he knows the regulations and he want to violate the basic rules. So this can be interpreted that the Tang emperor depict in the poem is a bad emperor. He shows the quality or the characteristic of a bad emperor. 辇前才人带弓箭. 才人 is also the women for the emperors. That's the title. 才人 is the title for a junior level woman for the emperor. So that's the name. 辇前, in front of the car, emperor's car. The lady, they carry the bow and arrows. 弓箭, bow and arrows. They carry bow and arrows. 白马嚼啮黄金勒. So they are on the ladies, they have the bows and arrows, and they are on the white horse. And the white horse was decorated with all gold. It's shining. So they are the junior level positions. They still decorate or they wear so magnificently. So what to say, not to say the emperor and the queens. The queens, 杨贵妃, actually in the other poem, 丽人行, the lady, the beauties described is the elder sisters of the queen, 杨贵妃. 翻身向天仰射云，一笑正坠双飞翼. 翻身, they turn back their body and look toward the sky, and they shoot the arrows to the clouds. 仰射云, shoot to the clouds. 一笑正坠双飞翼. So with just a smile, the time of a smile, they shoot two birds with one arrow. So this shows even the girls is so talented on shootings. And 双飞翼 has is a name or a symbol for the couples. So this sentence has two aspects. One is the girls in front of the car, they shoot the birds. They are so talented person, and their talent is wasted for the amusement for the emperors, not for the country, for the people. Their talent is wasted, but they are so talented. Shoot two birds with one arrow. The other aspect is 双飞翼. The birds is the symbol for good couple. They have very good relationship and they love each other. So that's the symbol for good couple. And they shoot the good couples. So this implies a very sad story afterwards. So very naturally, the following sentences write about that sad story. 明眸皓齿今何在？雪无游魂归不得。明眸, the very bright eye. 皓齿, the very shining white teeth. So this is the description for the beauties only, not for men. 明媚皓齿 is only for beauties. Here it refers to the 杨贵妃, the first lady in this poem, who is with the same car with the emperor. Where is her today? So the background is when the emperor fleeing to the Chengdu city in the midway, the escort troops demand to kill the first lady, and the emperor had to agreed that to kill the first lady. So 明谋好是金何在 actually is the ask back, where is her? Actually, everybody knows she's not there. 血污游魂归不得。血污 so that 血污 means the killing, killing to death. 游魂 the ghost is touring because that's the way of the Chinese think about that. If the person died the right way, he will have a destination somewhere. But if he or she died by accident, he or she does not have a destination, so he's touring around in the current world. So that's the 血无游魂. It all refers to the very sad ending of the first lady. 归不得, so there's no destination for her. This is a very sad, very bad ending for her. So Du Fu recalled the wonderful past time, the wonderful prosperous time of the Tang dynasty, but also it implies a bad emperor, a bad ending of the beloved couple. So he come back to today's life in front of the huge lake, Qujiang. He asked, where is the beautiful lady? And he was just like a wild ghost touring around. She does not have a destination. 清渭东流间隔深. 清渭东流. 清渭 is the clear Wei River. Flows to the east. 清渭东流. 间隔深. 间隔 is a name for the blockade castle in the midway of the emperor flee to Chengdu city. He fled from Chang'an, the capital city, to Chengdu city. 间隔 was in the middle, a very famous blockade castle, a gate between the Chengdu city and Chang'an city. So here, 深 means very deep because that's in the huge mountains. So that means just deep means in the huge mountains. 清渭东流 here actually refers to the first lady, Yang Guifei, and because he was killed and buried at the riverside of the Wei River. And 间隔 refers to the emperor or the past emperor. He was lost his throne already. He was in the Chengdu city that time. So 去住彼此无消息. So here means the two of them, they have no message between each other. And also it implies 去 means the dead people. 住 means the living people. They don't have the message. It's a very, very sad situation. They are so in love with each other, and now one has gone. One is dead. The other lost his throne, and he still lives, but he lost everything. The beloved woman, his country, his throne. There is a very frequent idiom associated with this sentence, 清渭东流. The Wei River actually today is not clear. And the idiom is 泾渭分明. 泾 is another river. Wei is the river in this poem. The two rivers joined it together, and finally they joined the Yellow River. So the two rivers at the joint, one is clear, the other is not clear. So through miles, you still can see the boundary, the clear water boundary with the not clear water boundaries. So 泾渭分明 refers to kinds of things. They are totally different and they never mix up. And the funny things, the two rivers change, the clear or not, change at a very ancient time. It's that the Wei River is not clear and Jing River is clear. And later on in the Tang dynasty, the Wei River became clear and the other river, Jing River, became not clear. And today the Wei River is not clear, it's just like the Yellow River, and the Jing River is clear water. Today you still can go there to see the joint, the two river joint together with very clear boundaries of the clear water and not clear water, roughly in the north part of the north or in the Xi'an city. So that's one of the idiom, very popular idiom, 泾渭分明. You can use it when you try to describe something totally different and they never mix up. 人生有情泪沾衣，江水江花起中急. Though this one is a little hard if you're not quite familiar with the Chinese philosophy. The meaning is the human has sympathy, has love, and at the time being, the poet Du Fu himself cried with so many tears. The tears wet his clothes in front of his chest, and 江水江花. So here it's not river. Remember, that's Qujiang, the huge lake. So it means the lake, the huge lake, and the flowers surround the lake. 江花, the flowers surround the lake, will never end because the lake's always there. That refers to nature. This meaning, the nature is always there. So it sounds like there's what the poet is saying. So if you look at the Chinese philosophy from Mencius, 孟子, one word is 天地不仁，以万物为刍狗, which means the nature has no sympathy at the creatures in the world. So he treats all kinds of things, all kinds of creatures as the dog made of the straw. The dog made of the straw or the grass is the things for the ceremony in the ancient China. Because at very beginning the people used the pig, used the bull, used the dog to as the gift in the ceremony to the ancestors, to the god. And the poor people cannot afford that, so they use the dog made of the grass, sort of the sculpture things, to use to as a gift to the ancestor or to the heavens. And before the ceremony, so that's a very important article and valued articles. And after the ceremony, it became useless and it was thrown away. So nobody cares it. So the nature treat the everything, 以万物为刍狗. 万物, the 10,000 articles, that refers everything, as the grass dog. So it's useless, nobody cares things. So the philosophy has two explanations. One is the nature treat all the creatures with no sympathy, no love. The other explanations is the natures treat all the creatures equally. So actually, I think the two-plus-nation refers the same meaning, no sympathy, or treat all the creatures equal. So with that thought, you can see this sentence again, that the poet 杜甫actually sign is here. 人生有情泪沾襟. So the humans always have sympathy, have love, but the nature is always there, and the nature cares nothing. So that's the time, that's the history, like always. No matter how 杜甫 cries and how many teardrops he have. 黄昏胡骑尘满城. So in the dark time, 胡骑 refers to the rebellion troops. 骑 means to the horse and the people riding the horse together. The rebellion troops still in the capital city Chang'an, and they are making a lot of the noises, make the dust all around 尘满城. The dust, the city is full of dust, which means they have a lot of things, robbery or whatever. And that's totally different from the normal time, because before the Song dynasty, the capital always have the curfews. So after the sun goes down, the city was in a curfew. Nobody allowed to get out of his home, and so this is totally different from the normal time. It's dark, and the city is still in a chaos. 欲往城南，望城北. So let's thought about where the poet is. So he is almost dark in Qujiang, the royal garden, and which is at the south suburb of the city, and north to his residence. I suppose he still lived in that place. So he want to go back to his home. 欲往城南. So he want to go back to his home. 望城北. He look to the north of the city, 城北. So he's not looking to the north. He looks to the north of the city. So where is the stuff in the north of the city? That's the tombs. So if you have been to Xi'an, you will know in the northbound of the city is all the tombs of the ancient emperors. The emperor of the Han dynasty, the emperor of the Tang dynasty, and you can see so many poems in the Tang dynasty. They write about Chengbei or Wuling or something like sort of that. So they always look to the emperor's tombs. The tombs like the small hills is very, very obvious in a plain basin area in the surround the capital city Chang'an. And what's for all those poems writing about? They look to the tombs, because the tombs resemble the throne, resemble the histories. So at the last sentence, he look at the tomb of the emperors. He's wondering, because in the previous sentence he has implied the emperor is a very bad emperor, and all the signs implicate it could be the ending of a dynasty. And so he looked to the ancestors' tombs, the previous emperor's tombs, and he's wondering, and he sighs, he feels sorrow. If you have been to Xi'an or read some other Tang poems, you will know the north of the city. They're so important and so many implications for the throne, for the history, for the power of the emperor. So with all the sad story, the sad situations, the sad scenic views, finally, with the last sentence, 2 sentences, the poet Du Fu actually made a hopeless conclusion. From the gesture, you can see that it's a time to go back, and his body is toward south, to his home, and he turned his head back to the north to look to the emperor's tomb, to the ancient emperor's tombs. That's a hopeless gesture, and it's the elegy sung for the Tang dynasty. Okay, that's for today. Bye-bye.